Broadcasting from our station, spinning 3,900 feet above the watery sphere.
I can see for miles and miles. I can see for miles and miles. I can see for miles and miles and miles and miles and miles.
This is Monitor Duty.
Ladies and gentlemen, kids of all ages, welcome to Monitor Duty, the 8th ever episode of this brand new, never-before-seen show with brand new, never-before-seen people. Thanks for tuning in, those of you who have. I am today joined by several friendly faces from the Mythoverse, but you can't tell because I'm the only one on camera today. Welcome, Dylan, Brent, Forrester, and Neville. Thanks for coming on the old show, or the new show.
Hello. No problem. Glad to be here.
Is the new show exactly like the old show? Better name, though. I think.
Depends. Is it more?
Hail
Depends.
the new show, same as the old show.
Depends. Is this like Star Trek Next Generation or Star Trek Voyager?
I don't know what you would compare it to. We're as low tech, but I have a theme song that I made instead of somebody else making for me, or an intro video.
I'm just saying one's beloved and one isn't.
That's fair. But Abigail, who is in the chat, made the old theme, which I do still appreciate. But the old show named The Matriarchy could never find it in the YouTube search. So hence Monitor Duty. That's the new thing because it's easily findable.
Always gotta
Try to
play the
stop
search
us
engine
now, spell check.
That's right.
search engine optimization.
And it was
become ungovernable.
it was very much a spell checking thing, believe it or not. When people would try to type it in, they'd find all sorts of things about female empowerment and in the matriarchy. Nobody YouTube's smart search doesn't get puns.
It's sad. It was pretty good.
I think so. They just tell you that. I do think that puns are. I think the AI age has shown us that puns are the superior form of humor because computers don't get them.
Oh yeah.
Abigail says become unsearchable. Well, we already were. That was that was the problem. Anyway, we're not here to talk about the show name. We are here to talk about the new comic you guys got coming out. Which now, when did you guys start this crowdfunding campaign? How long ago was it?
It was kind of about 2. Okay, that depends. Are we talking about when we officially launched or when we put the plans in motion?
I meant the launch because it's like over 100% funded, and that seems like impressive.
Oh, that was 2 weeks ago.
Is this working? Okay, we got one of us on the camera. Hi.
There we go.
Even though, wow, the lighting is terrible.
If we're talking about when we launched that, that was like 2 weeks ago, give or take.
Okay, it's actually better without the desk lamp.
Please put up pictures of the comic cover. Well, we'll have to do that. We're going to go check out the dealio in a moment. I've got the campaign loaded up on one of the other tabs. I just got to remember where I put it because I was doing stuff today and kind of buried myself. So I'm trying to remember where I put it. Is this a real comic? Forrester figured out the green screen. And Jim Tuner says, is this a real comic? These guys look shifty.
No, we're an established
I won't tell you, Jim.
Been here about 5 years.
Yeah. I would say you probably know, Jim, that they have released several actual physical comics. I even have a couple. Although I have to shamefully admit there, Brett, I've still not read Changeling issue 2. It came in and got buried under some stuff, and then I had to take that stack and do something with it. So it got filed into a paper box of books to read, and they're alphabetical. So I have to get to C's.
Oh,
I got too many books. Somebody introduced me to Chainsaw Man, and it sort of took over my life.
I can understand. I can understand that. It's Chainsaw Man's. It's great.
It's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if I got to lose to something, I'd like to lose to something good at least.
I wouldn't say lost, just delayed. So, okay, I'm gonna have to look it up again because I lost it. Although those of you guys at home, the link is in the chat in the description. I remember to do that. So
I can fit.
Oh, thank God.
Sorry.
So yeah, we threw this thing together about 2 weeks ago, and somehow, against all expectations, it made its goal within the first 24 hours.
Yeah. Wow. That's ridiculously impressive, frankly.
Which, for us, it's completely unprecedented.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years since your last book. Am I remembering that right? Since the last time you guys did an anthology, anyway.
Yeah, that's about right.
Our last big campaign was our 5th anniversary collection, in which were a bunch of reprints of old books, but it was just us kind of celebrating what we had managed to accomplish within that 5 years, and give people a chance to get caught up on books they might have missed out on. And then, there was a lot. We had a whole separate collection just for the Patreon stuff. This is our first new material in a hot minute. I'm trying to think. It was either Hallowed Harvest 2 or Changeling issue 2, or
it was Changeling 2 because I lettered it. I remember very well. That was around early 2023, and then the 5th anniversary reprint of all of it was in 2024.
Okay.
Yeah. Right behind the 5th anniversary, where he is Changeling issue 2.
So this is, of course, an anthology book, and I have always enjoyed anthologies, but I know that they're. Hang on, my phone apparently is being stupid, so I have to tell it to shut up. I thought I had already done that, but I was wrong.
At least you can tell your phone to shut up. I can't tell my cat to.
That's true. Well, you can. However, my phone is a little more responsive since it doesn't have any sort of a will of its own. So, but you guys have done several anthology books. You've done the Hallowed Harvest, 2 of those, right?
Yep.
And this is your 3rd. How do these anthologies usually sell for you guys?
Well, so far they've always been pretty successful. They at least make their goal.
I actually kind of consider them the core of the brand, kind of, because it launched as 3 books back in 2019, and then that was kind of the launch, and then the first Hallowed Harvest was sort of what proved that it wasn't a one-time success, that it had staying power. There have been 3 individual book campaigns, but so I guess it's about. This is our 4th anthology. So now the anthologies have now more than half of them have been anthologies. Moving forward, we want to try a double feature model where instead of doing like one floppy at a time, the different series is in floppy launched together.
Yeah. Okay. Like a Marvel 2-in-1 sort of thing.
Right. And they're kind of they're not going to be like part 1 and part 2 or anything like that. They're
Right.
unrelated stories in the same universe, and you could back one or both of them as you wanted to.
Yeah. That's one of the things that I think is it's a neat the universe that you guys put together. The way you combined it all was so much fun to watch and read. And it's one of those things that Brett, one of the things I think is really impressive is how you've been able to get other creators to buy in to your world in a way. And I mean, I'd be tempted to be a little jealous because that is something with Ideal Comics that we tried to do way back in the 20-aughts, and we're unable to get steam underneath us. That's just how it goes. Maybe
those were dark times.
Isn't as appealing.
Yeah, I published my first comic in 2012, and that was back when it was like stark black and white printing and everything. That was the OOs were a hard time to launch something like that.
Yeah. Before crowdfunding was really an issue, it was a very much a labor of love.
Those days, if you didn't win the Zarek grant, you were basically screwed.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is, so that tells you how out of loop I was. But
it was a like a charity thing that the TMNT creators launched.
Oh, okay.
And, they pick like one comic a year.
I actually do remember, now that you say that, I do remember it because my buddy Chris, my company co-founder, he applied 1 year for that.
Mm-hmm.
So
I tried to, but I was like a teenager, so it wasn't happening for me yet.
Yeah, we did not get it either. The metal has joined the chat. So, now, so when you guys went through working on this project, you have it's 100 pages, which is awesome. How many individual stories have you got here?
Little under a dozen, I think.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
Well, that was the model. If we could get 10 pages from each creator, then, and we had like 10 stories, well, then that would be 100-page trade right there.
Yep.
And that's cool to launch with something that starts as a trade rather than, with floppies first.
Right. Yeah, we'd originally, our second anthology, Zing number 2, was originally intended to be 100-page issue, but some of the artists that had agreed to work on it dipped out, and by the time we actually finally printed it in 15, so it was a long time between issues for us. I think that we ended up just with 6 stories out of it, but it was still 48 pages, so some big chonky ones we got. Anyway, so when you went through with these 10 or so stories that you have on here, was there a thought process? Did you guys have to pitch around a bunch of ideas? Were you going for a unifying theme to go with it? Or is it a situation where you just had the stories that you wanted, that you were able to tell as the first plan? What was the process you guys went through?
It started out as Dylan and I wanted to redo a Patreon Christmas special we did in 2020. And it was kind of, it was well liked, but it was, to our standards, rushed. And I didn't feel the art I did during COVID was really up to snuff because of it was 2020. Everything was just, breaking loose. And I thought I could do better now. And Dylan and I had been redoing some other comics that we had done already. And the next Hallowed Harvest was potentially coming up. And then I just got the random idea to do Christmas instead of Halloween.
Mm-hmm. And that was another question that I had was why the shift? You had a successful brand with a Halloween book for 2 years. And so I didn't know why you'd went with a different time of year, if it was just necessity, just how it worked out, or if that was an intentional thing.
Well, because the original story we were redoing was called Two Christmases.
Okay.
So it had to be.
Right.
Yeah. So Silent Solstice was kind of a play on Hallowed Harvest to kind of continue the alliteration.
Right.
And you got anything about that, Dylan?
I mostly just remember talking about that on the phone. Like, oh, like what are we gonna call it? You know, it has to be some that kind of, you know, that's nice on the ears, like Hallowed Harvest is, and we just kind of came up with it.
Well, also like Maeve McKenzie from Changeling, like her story kind of deals with themes of things like divine silence and like is anybody listening and such like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was reading the novel Silence by Shusaku Endo, and I kind of had that in the back of my mind. And the concept of silence recurs over and over throughout the book, not just as the title, but like it's a frequent motif.
Right.
And solstice, you know, like for Christmas, winter solstice, and it just sort of came together. And I thought the Mythoverse had this kind of style that's like Christo-pagan in that it's like it's the old mythology, but there's a very like Christian worldview lens on how the older mythology is interpreted.
Right.
And so the Hallowed Harvest was that way. Like the word hallowed is rooted in Christianity, and the harvest over the pagan festivals. So it's just continuing that same tone, Silent Solstice. And Silent Night, the Christmas song.
Right. So when it comes to the aspect of silence within the stories, was that intentional or was that serendipitous as the stories came in?
Serendipitous that became the central theme. And then when it started sort of turning into like what started as an anthology evolved into a Jeff Johns type crossover book almost. And we ended up collaborating to write a kind of a battle scene at the end where the plot threads converge.
Oh, wow.
A character is being saved from a villain and she never knows she was saved. And there's kind of that ironic statement about like, you know, depression and is God out there? Is anyone listening? The character doesn't realize that multiple people actually just like fought to save her. And the silence that she thinks is there is really not. But
I don't know how familiar it's sort of funny. You're talking about the old stories through a Christian lens. And I have to bring up it was very popular in the 80s, the poem Footprints in the Sand, right? Where you know it's a little schlocky, but it's still an enduring piece of poetry.
I found it a good detail on King of the Hill in the new season that Hank and Peggy had that on their wall in the background. It was very tiny, but it's that print that everyone had in the 80s.
Right, and so in the poem it tells us, for those people who don't know about it, for the story of the poem is that a man has a dream. He's walking with Jesus, and he's walking through the eras of his life and looking back through the sand, and there's two sets of footprints, and then during all of he looks back at all of the hard and bitter times in his life, and there's just one bit of footprints, and he said, how can there be just one bit of footprints there during the hard times there, Jesus? And Jesus says, well, that's when I carried you. And it's like I said, it's a little schlocky, but it is still poignant in the idea that, you know, sometimes when we're getting help, we don't really realize that we're getting help, and it was immediately brought to mind with your description of this final battle within this book.
You know, it was probably on my mind because that is on the wall in my grandmother's dining room. So,
Rhys, here's a joke you'll probably appreciate.
Okay.
A guy's drowning in a river. He's hanging onto a tree branch for dear life. A guy comes by and says, "Do you want help?" He says, "No, thanks. God will save me." He goes on his way. Guy with a bow comes by, says, "Do you want help?" Says, "No, thanks. God will save me." Helicopter comes by, says, "Do you want help?" Says, "No, God will save me." Guy drowns to death, goes to heaven, says, and asks God, "Why didn't you save me?" God says, I sent a guy. I sent a boat. I sent a helicopter. What more do you want?
Yeah, I'm
I've
familiar
heard
with
that
that one. It's a good one.
I know one. It's a little more cynical about human nature. A god, like I think it's the mob's going to kill him or something, and he needs $1 million, and he's praying, God, please send me $1 million. I'll give to charity, and I'll become a priest, and I'll do this, that, and the other, and I'll dedicate my whole life. And he trips over a box and opens it, and it has $1 million inside. He says, "Never mind, Lord, I found some."
Holy.
Oh my god!
That's great.
The Futurama episode Godfellas is also a good take on that.
Yeah.
The
And that's
episode
anyway. That's
episode
a super fun theme. You were saying, Brent?
it's the episode where Bender becomes God and then meets God.
I have not seen that. I have not watched a lot of Futurama, so
I haven't in a long time. I need to finish the series.
yeah.
I haven't seen it since it was on Fox. Was that a Fox episode, Brett?
Yeah, it was from the Fox era, not the Comedy Central era.
Huh. Then I should have seen it. Okay.
Yeah, Bender gets shot out from the Planet Express ship's torpedo tubes, flies through space, ends up becoming God to a bunch of little tiny aliens. They die, and then he meets God.
Well, I was like 12 years old when that was on, so
Okay, yeah. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, it's a great episode.
Well, anyway, so you guys have got how many different writers were involved in these dozen or so stories?
You're looking at them.
yeah, it's the four of us.
Okay,
And
and I did see.
I have based on characters created by credits, so technically,
Dan wrote one of them.
Yeah.
Dan is a writer on one of these.
Okay,
Brett didn't write anything in this, but we stole his ideas in a different stream. I joked that he was the gardener and we were the rabbits. Since a
that's
lot of
probably fair.
a lot of this is built around his lore from Changeling, and because of that, like even when he wasn't writing the scripts, we had to check with him and what wouldn't mess up the timeline of what was coming next and all.
Right.
So he ended up having a pretty big hand in it, but not directly scripting.
Mm-hmm. And how many different artists are involved? Because I know you guys all draw too.
Me, Dylan, Nebel, Leandro, who drew Adobe Kroger, and Ebi Canales.
Okay. Oh, that's right. I remember Canales as being on the Kickstarter page.
Yeah, that's him. That fish monster you see on the page there, that's his work.
Yep. Which is a really interesting take on the Fomorians, I gotta say. So
thank Brett for that.
Yeah.
Well, it's because the original mythology didn't really give much to work with. It just says they all came from the sea. So I told Rubbish, why don't we just make them like some kind of sea monster people?
Right.
Well, so what are you going to draw from marine life? I wanted to draw from. I personally wanted to go with like deep sea marine life to kind of make them scarier. But I think what Rubbish came up with also works.
Yeah. It's real terrifying. I think it's great. So
yeah, I didn't script any of the fights there. I literally told Canales just to do what he wanted. I gave him the vaguest idea of time period and basically told him to do 18th century Predator.
Right. Okay.
Well, the whole thing started as a pun because a lot of this stuff just comes from Discord because we just hang out and shoot the stuff or do RPGs and stuff like that, and that's where a lot of our ideas come from. And sometimes the best chats happen at 2 a.m. or something. And anyways, Predator and Alien were being discussed, and they were talking about colonial marines versus the Predator. And trying to be funny, I was saying that at 1 shot a minute, colonial marines wouldn't last long. And crickets, nobody gets it. And I'm like, 18th century colonial America, and it was not funny. But the joke that made nobody laugh, I was like, no, dang it, there's a story in that. But I'd always wanted to see Predator be done in other settings and all. I always thought there was like room for it to be more of an expansive franchise, and the Fomorians were already the villain in Changeling, so it was just kind of a natural thing. And there's like a Christmas theme going on, and my mother had just done a whole marathon of Downton Abbey, and I was thinking about the like Boxing Day hunt. Well, what if it was the humans being hunted on the day after Christmas?
Yeah, that's clever. That's fun. So. And so you have one of the things from the thing at the top. The thing is you've got all these different timestamps, which is great going through all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I love that you guys are working from a fixed timeline. That's one of the things that I think is just grand with laying all that stuff out. So, that's something that like I said, that I don't know if I ever talked to you about that, but with our DL Comics universe, it's similarly working from a fixed time scale, and it's a little cumbersome because when we started, we were telling stories that were happening like 1 or 2 years ago, or 1 or 2 years in the future, and that was 20 years ago. So I'm just putting the finishing touches on a script that happens in early October of 2005.
Yeah, I know that feeling. Well, I mean, that's happened to us too, because like Changeling is set in 2019, which, Brett, that was the future when you were writing that, wasn't it?
I think it might have. No, I think it might have been like.
I think it was because the campaign was in March of 19, and this is like the fall semester. So yeah, it was definitely the future.
I mean, not that.
No, but I mean, it was.
Yeah. Technically, yeah.
Or you're lucky you didn't use 2020.
Just not before. Oh boy. Leo.
Well, you just have to assume that in the way the time worked in that dimension, there was no pandemic, right? I mean, like for example, like in our universe, there was an alien invasion that happens in the 50s and the 60s, and this aquatic alien race, ended up coming up to a stalemate with Earth back in the 70s and share their cold fusion technology and all that kind of stuff. So, in the 80s and 90s, there's flying cars in our universe.
In our universe, Charlemagne's paladins went on to establish a global secret order that rules the world. Right.
But I'm just saying, like, so you're going to have the chances of the Wuhan flu, maybe diminish when you're, when you have cold fusion on the table. I'm just saying.
For us, like, the Mythoverse, like, other than like the magic stuff that goes on in the background, it sticks so closely to like the actual human world, outside of all that if something happens in the real world, like off screen, or off panel, like you're gonna assume it happens in that universe. It's like, like we won't say it usually, but it's like, it's like we generally kind of follow like real life.
Part of it is, because part of it is the paladins are like the MIB for magic. They're more to keep it from from the public knowing rather than actually being involved. I'm not sure that they would interfere with something like the Wuhan flu. That's not it's not what they do.
Yeah.
Little bit of BPRD from Hellboy, a little bit of Inquisition from Warhammer.
Nobody expects Spanish Inquisition.
Yeah, and then
I don't know anything about Warhammer. That's one of the things about our universe, because everybody comes with different points of references. We all throw something different in the gumbo pot, and we don't all even understand what the other one's talking about.
Yep, that seems fair. I think some of that also comes to the idea that, just because you have these other pieces of the puzzle, when you meld them together, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to play the same way it does in that other inspiration, right? So, because that's the kind of thing, like, speaking about comparing our universes, Brett and I both play a lot in our world building with Irish legend, right? And
I
but
mean,
the way they interact are going to be very different because of how those things shake out.
I mean, I'd say kind of draw up on the whole of the British Isles, but yeah, Irish is in there.
Oh yeah, for sure, and that's why well, here, let me show something to demonstrate. Just a little talking about my own stuff here. Give me a second.
You've had to have dipped a little out. You've had to have dipped into the other kingdoms in the British Isles. I was considering how Welsh you are, man.
Also true.
Yeah.
But here, let me. Where'd it go?
Yeah, I'm like.
Okay, so I'm going to try to share a screen just to show off. No, not that one. I hit the wrong option here. Okay. So this is from Forces of Good and Evil, from our webcomic. This short little fellow is called the Dwarf, and he's the physical education instructor at Hero School.
Oh, that's Mrs. H's art, isn't it?
This is Mrs. H's art, and this is Mighty Lass, and she's a Fomorian warrior who has a life debt to the dwarf. He saved her life from a supervillain, and so she goes with him everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And her and the Mrs. H and I designed her look after the description of Dylan of the Waves from the Mabinogion.
That's the Welsh mythology.
Yep, exactly. But she is a Fomorian. But the look we wanted, we picked out was from that particular book. So with the large glassy eyes and the slimy green skin. Only she's also gorgeous.
If you hadn't told us Fomorian, I would have taken her for like a mermaid or something.
Yep.
Wait. Wait, you're telling me we could have made the Fomorians hot?
No. We still can. There's not one design.
Yeah, it could be a situation where they're biologically dysmorphic, right? So the chicks can all be really gorgeous, and the men can be not, just like Norwegians.
Nobody's told me this until now.
So anyway, it's not about me, it's about you. So I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this guy. So anyway, I just really wanted to share.
Hey, come here.
Okay. Share screen. Okay. But yeah, Mrs. H is actually has been doing the art for the story I'm working on. Actually the one I was just talking about earlier. So hopefully we'll be able to get back to that. I don't know when, but hopefully soon. We'll see.
I like her. She's a nice lady.
She is super nice. The nicest. But yeah. So that's over on Webtoons. Force of Good and Evil Senior Year over on Webtoon is where you can read the story she and I have been working on together.
Wow.
Yeah. Cat sounds really impressed with my story. Anyway, back to the Silent Solstice. So several of these stories were things that you've been working on from finessing from before. But were there any new particular properties that just spoke to you once you picked out the theme, or how did they get added in?
Guys, do you think we should go through them like in chronological order, or?
Probably from top to bottom.
That's probably pretty easy. So we already talked about Age of Reason.
It's named after the fact that it's 1784, and one of the soldiers has been reading Thomas Paine, and he thinks he understands how the world works until he fights a Celtic demon, and then he throws the Age of Reason in a fire.
Don't spoil the ending. Hey, I got to interrupt for a second because from the chat, the metal says, I'm going to make it about me. If you want stories involving Irish myths and hot babes, read this.
Okay, I'll check out your link.
Extra Chaos, Bodacious Battle Babes.
Bodacious
So far, that's
Bikini
all
Battle
fun, right?
Babes.
Bikini Battle Babes of Broderick Bay or something. I can't remember the last part of it, but that actually is a really
That's a
good
lot.
story.
That's a lot of alliteration.
Well, that's the metal for you. But we actually did a review of it here about a year and a half ago on the show. So
It seems like it needs to be said in Michelangelo's voice. Bodacious Bikini Battle Babes.
Oh, British Bay. There you go. Yeah.
I mean,
But yeah, there you go.
yeah, if the
It's
soldier, Forrester, if the soldier tossed Age of Reason in the fire, what would he do with Critique of Pure Reason?
I don't know. I didn't think about it that hard.
It's Immanuel Kant, if that gives you
Well, I
any
know what
ideas.
it is.
So, well, we actually get to go
I used to have a quote from that book on my Facebook page and various media that I liked a lot, and then I found out that a woman in the 1800s made it up, and Kant never said it. The quote was that you don't judge a man by what he produced, but by the obstacles he overcame to produce it. But it's an entirely fabricated quote. He never said it.
Yeah. Well,
and then Victoria Woodhull, who actually wrote it, was kind of a scandalous figure, but
yeah, that seems like she may have been right, though. I think that's
she may have been. Oh, I'm not saying that. It was just a cause of great embarrassment when I met a professor who was a Kant scholar, and I showed him the quote, and he's like, "Yeah, Kant never said that." And
man, that's a great way to feel 4 feet tall.
Yeah, I know, right? So, Brett, sorry, you kind of struck a nerve there. Oops. Do I know Critique of Pure Reason? That's what the professor asked me.
I have a weird knack for unintentionally drawing up old wounds.
Yeah, but that's not bad for a writer. That's what makes people remember what you wrote.
Yeah.
So, well, in any case, Test of Faith was a story and art by Forrester. Mm-hmm. What was the inspiration for this little piece here?
Because Dan writes about Charlemagne and the 12 paladins as part of the backstory. So I wanted to do something that was actually set in that time and have, just the Carolingians versus the Saracens kind of story. And it's where one of the paladins meets the Emir of Baghdad in a cave, and they're both on a quest for an artifact called the Eye of the First Witness. That it was a man back in the time of Genesis who met God and was told to cover his face, and he peeked through his hands and looked, and the eye that peeked turned into black opal. And because it was created in an act of disobedience, it has very dark powers attached.
Okay. So here's a question that I've got for you here with that. That sounds intriguing. Is that an original idea, or is that from something else?
Completely made up here. Just from Moses, cover your face.
Right.
Well, what happens if someone peeked? That kind of thing. But I didn't want a artifact that had divine origin being evil. And so it's like, okay, well, it's because it was an act of disobedience.
Right.
And that was in the Mythoverse lore documents that like demonic beings in this universe, like Brett, help me out here. Like, were they sin themed or was their realm sin themed? It's in the lore doc.
Yeah, they were. There was a sin theme. Yeah, like we had like these big bad demon lords that were based around the 7 deadly sins.
Mm-hmm. So I was thinking that, like, okay, if it was created by an act of disobedience, it, that would get into spoilers.
Yeah.
But it was intentionally just to be as unmodern and, like something out of the Matter of France and the worldview and geopolitics of their time without ours. It was an original story written in their voice or as close to it as we could muster.
Cool. Yeah, no, that sounds groovy. Actually, I love the setting of that, and the one of the things I think is really intriguing about that time period is about how like it's not.
Well, I mean,
Charlemagne-
Charlemagne's instrumental to, he's foundational to the modern West.
Oh,
Neville,
absolutely, he is.
What did
Absolutely
you
he
read about Charlemagne the other day? You were saying?
I don't think I've read anything about Charlemagne.
No, Neville, are you here?
He's,
Yeah, I'm around.
Okay, he had a lot of kids.
He did. I decided like, oh, I knew like vaguely Charlemagne had a lot of kids, but maybe I can dig around and like, I don't know, find out a percentage. It's like, I don't know, maybe it's like 20%, 30%, maybe like 60% on the outside. You know what I found out? You know how many people of Western European descent have Charlemagne's DNA? Take a guess. Just spitball a number.
One of
Spitball
them's in the
percentage.
chat.
Any percentage.
One of them's in the chat with you right now. Hello.
Now, quite a few of them actually.
possibly more than one. Yeah. So
Just guess. Throw out a percentage.
I'm
80%.
gonna guess 68.
Higher.
Oh wow. Actually, that's really not that surprising. 83,
Higher.
92.
Higher.
Really?
Higher.
Just tell me.
What if I told you 100%?
Wow.
As in
Okay.
every single surviving person of Western European descent has Charlemagne's DNA in them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's not actually, like I said, that's not really that surprising.
I mean, it surprised the hell out of me.
Well, let me think about it. Okay, so Charlemagne had a bunch of kids, right?
You did? Yep.
And those kids, because they were noble, they were Charlemagne's kids. They had a whole bunch. They themselves had a whole bunch of kids, married into a bunch of different European families, and so for my own family, right? My mother's great grandmother was a girl named Sarah Redmond. Okay, the Redmond family was an Irish clan that originated back to the 5 Fitzgerald brothers that came over to Ireland during the Norman invasion of Ireland, and the Fitzgeralds went native, right? And so they went native, and they were, took on all the Irish laws and customs or whatever else. But they came over to Ireland from Wales, and the Fitzgeralds themselves were their ancestors, or like just a few generations back, were Marcher lords who had taken from William II. William Rufus had taken land grants in Wales that William never owned right to. So the Marcher lords came in and steamrolled over a bunch of Welsh families and stole a bunch of their land. And then to stop the fighting, the Welsh noble families married into some of these Norman families. And then some of their grandkids and great grandkids went over to the Norman invasion of Ireland. And that's just one story. And so the Norman families were connected to the Carolingian through daughters and stuff. The Carolingian thing through different daughters and whatever else, through different of Charlemagne's daughters and granddaughters and that whole thing. So it's really not at all surprising, and that's just in one category to see that there would be a connection to me, right? Yeah,
there's something that's gonna blow your mind. I watched a couple of YouTube videos where that traced like the lineages of various nobles in European history. You want to guess who's got a direct claim to Charlemagne's throne?
No.
I feel like I know who this is, or had one.
Okay, try and take a stab at his nationality.
Hang on, is it Donald Trump?
No. It is His Majesty King Charles.
Yeah, that's not surprising at all.
See, I was gonna go with Christopher Lee.
I was assuming it was going to be something off the wall, like the Emperor of Japan or some nonsense.
Yeah.
Just because usually when there's that much setup, it's not. I think Charles is like the only living monarch I can name.
Well, the Sweden still has a king. Denmark still has a king.
Yeah. Denmark still has a royal family. I think Norway probably does too.
The Malaysians do.
I think the Netherlands does too. Like, I think a lot of former European monarchies still have their royals, but they're functionally ceremonial at this point.
Yeah.
They don't have any real political power anymore.
Yeah. Largely. Yeah. Anyhow, Charlemagne, Charles the Great. So
Carl the Magna.
The Magna. So, next one, I recognize Forrester's art here. Tell us about Crosstalk.
Okay, well, this is an episode of The Night Ward, which is my Mythoverse subseries about a psychiatrist in the 1960s. And this is continuing off of the plot thread from the first one. A shard of that eye artifact was put inside a processional cross. And the scene we're seeing here is inside the Great Hall at the Smithsonian, where the cross was on display, and some Dominican friars from the Dominican House of Studies Seminary nearby had come to prostrate before it, and they were going to use it in a Christmas mass. And when he touched it, it gave him visions of Charlemagne's time, and he thinks he's saving the artifact from Saracens, and he's actually just knocking over museum guards.
All right.
The main character, Anniker Holt, he's guest lecturing at Georgetown, and he's filling in for his colleague who asked him to do it. And the students think that he's like the Richard Dawkins of supernatural phenomenon. They think he's been like debunking and disproving supernatural stuff in his academic journals when he's actually more
master debunker, one might say.
Yeah. Sometimes I write the old-timey like 60s dialogue, and one of the students describes him as an ace debunker of supernatural hokum.
I love that you managed to fit the word hokum in there.
Yeah.
Hokum is such a perfect word. Really
I don't do it in every line, but I do love to work some of that Silver Age type dialogue in. So it's kind of an existential crisis for him, because it's like he feels like his whole work and legacy has been for nothing if people think he's doing the opposite. And so, yeah, that's basically the story.
Excellent. So, now here's the one we're talking about: Two Christmases.
Mm-hmm. Dylan
Okay,
and Brett, I'm going to turn this over to you because I'm going to go hit a teapot and come back with some hot tea.
Sounds great. But here's the thing I got to say. I guess I can say it while Forrester's gone. The most stunning thing about this, I saw this and I started reading this, and I was like, "Oh, this is a not a Brett story." I was like, "Wait a second." So here's the thing I got to ask Brett, and Dylan, I want to talk to you about what your inspirations were in getting into this story a little bit too. But one of the first things I wanted to ask you, Brett, was this is a super important moment in Maeve's life, right? And you are not writing it. Like, what is that like? And what was the how did this story like come about in that frame? I mean, what was the process?
I wish I could remember, but it's like I'm trying to remember like how it originally got pitched to me, because this happened years ago. My memory's completely hazy at that point.
I could probably give you some details.
Okay.
Cliff Notes will do.
I sort of got the original idea based off of Batman Year One because I wanted to tell like a dual narrative, and I thought the best way we would do that was between Maeve and the girl she replaced named Ide. As she is named over in that world. And I wanted to tell sort of like these are two different creatures entirely. One's a changeling raised in the human world. One is a human raised in the Fey realm, and it shows sort of the conflicting nature of these two very different beings and environments they're not supposed to really be in. So we kind of get to see just how maladjusted Maeve is, like in the head, a little bit, and we see just how much like Ide was, she was thrown into slavery. She was experimented on, like all this crap. And I really wanted to sort of get in the head of these characters, because I know because when I wrote it, we kind of had a vague idea of what Ide would be like. So I just kind of threw my hat in the ring. I'm like, okay, okay, let's establish she was tortured, enslaved, all that, and she winds up becoming very powerful because of it, and sort of she develops a sort of malnourished mindset as well, but in a completely different way. But Maeve is slightly better off because she sort of had that stability, despite the fact, it's kind of against her nature. It's really fun. I wrote it back. I wrote it back in 2020. Forster did the artwork. This is a complete redux of it. Well, I mean, the story remains pretty much the same, but the artwork has been redone from the ground up. And I'm really excited for everyone to, kind of see what, this is all about. Yeah.
I mean, speaking from my perspective, I mean, I guess I can't even remember if I even felt like anxious about like sort of letting other people essentially, to use a phrase, play with my toys.
Mm-hmm.
Was if that makes sense, and like I've kind of grown like it's interesting when you kind of let other people have some ownership in with the stuff you make.
Yeah.
I guess the best way I can put it is, does anyone remember when Johnny Cash did his cover of that Nine Inch Nails song and Trent Reznor said like it's not my song anymore?
Yeah, hurt.
Oh yeah, I remember pretty vividly.
Yeah, but it's like he wasn't like lamenting it or anything. It's like he now realized, like, it was more like he realized the song had a life of its own outside of him.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's got to be a pretty cool feeling, especially if it's done by an artist that you really admire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because who doesn't respect Johnny Cash?
Oh hell yeah! It just, there's something definitely special about Maeve and Changeling. It was lightning in the bottle, Brett, and it's like as a writer, it's like I like to step outside of myself. It's like I don't like write really with myself in mind. Um, and Maeve, someone who's like, she has a whole lot of baggage, like a whole lot, just for being who she is, and it's great. Honestly, it's a ton of fun writing for Maeve.
Yeah. Another artist I've kind of come to feel a little, whoa, almost lost Rhys. Looks like we lost Rhys there for a minute, but hopefully we're still going.
Hello, everybody. Hey, it's the Dylan Show.
Okay, there he is. Yeah, another comic creator that I've sort of kind of grown a little bit of kinship with is Mike Mignola. Not just for the obvious reasons, because like there's similarities between Hellboy and the Mythoverse, but it's also that something that I've found very profound about what Mignola's done with his stuff is that he's allowed other people in. Like there's a couple Hellboy stories where he didn't do the art. He set up the BPRD comic with the intention of letting other creators dabble in his universe. And someone had a video about the kind of going over the general arc of Hellboy's story, and at the end of it, he sort of said this very profound thing about like how that was Mignola relinquishing ownership of Hellboy, not in the legal sense, the creative sense. Like it's Hellboy's no longer just his toy to play with.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the one of the things that seems different about this than the way Mignola has treated Hellboy is that Mignola had a decade, 15 years of telling his story, right? He had lots of time to flex and to stretch that out and to build it into something where sending it off is like the next natural phase, right? With yours, you're still in the first story arc for Maeve in a lot of ways,
Yeah,
and
but yeah.
And so it's interesting for me, and especially because like I've had when we created our universe, right? One of the things that we had is that I brought projects to the table, Chris brought projects to the table. We created things together that we worked on. But it was quite a thing when Chris took one of my ideas and ran with it. And we had a great story of him taking up one of my ideas, even in our first trade, which was and flexing it. That was really fun to see somebody play with my idea in that way. But he was there from the ground level and this was part of that. But this is a situation where you'd created and you've started Maeve's journey. And here's a situation where somebody else said, well, what about this chapter? How does that fit in? And you went with it, right? And so it's more emergent in some ways than BPRD was. And I think that's interesting. I'm not trying to lay any sort of opinion one way or the other on it. I just think it's really interesting to lay that out that way, So it's very cool that you've had the confidence to let other people strut it. So
one thing with Maeve, she's almost like the breakout character. Adobe Kroger was popular for like the action and the art, but I think as far as like a single character, I think Maeve is the one who resonated the most.
Mm-hmm.
And Dylan writing her is kind of natural. He was like, I think he was the series' first fan. Like, I don't know, before it even launched. Dylan, you want to?
Yeah. It just may have sort of grabbed my attention from the start because, especially with Victor's artwork, it sort of invoked kind of something I would have watched, back in the day. Like something I would have caught on like Toonami. Because Victor, Brett's artist, he's very inspired by like the Mexican the Mexican Mega Man comics and just Mega Man in general. And he draws a lot of like Digimon and stuff. And
I never knew that, but I totally see it.
I don't know if it's,
Yeah.
I don't know if they were Mexican Mega Man comics, but I do know. But you are right. They are right about the Mega Man bit.
There was a Mexican Mega Man comic, I believe, that I think those. Okay, well, either way, Digimon especially, because I kind of grew up with both like Pokemon and Digimon, but Digimon was the shit for me.
Same here. I was there at episode 1. I was tuning in to see the preview for Beast Machines because I have been a lifelong Transformers fan, and Digimon is just what was coming on. I didn't even know what it was, but like in one episode, I was as big a Digimon fan as I was Transformers.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I think
like
it's probably. Oh God, I think it's probably easier to name like anime from the late '90s and early 2000s. Victor isn't a fan of.
See, I didn't even know that. We just kind of got this good synergy going on here, where somehow we're like on the same wavelength, even when we don't know it.
This is the thing that's so funny to me, man. You guys are talking about this. I am too old to even know about this stuff, and now you guys are all middle aged. So what the hell does that make me?
Rhys, you have kids. You have kids. There was no way you didn't get exposed to Pokemon.
Well, I know Pokemon, but like Digimon's flower had faded by the time that my kids were born. But my kids are grown up now. So
yeah, I'm the youngest one here. I'm 27.
I am 30 blank.
I showed a 90s Moomin series to my sister to give to my niece.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's Moomins. Now that's a deep cut.
Indeed.
Oh yes.
But write a novel in a month. I've always wanted to try that in November.
I would feel the freedom to try to write a novel in a month if I wasn't trying to finish or get any work done on my numerous comics projects that are in some sort of state of unfinished.
I think
Why is November the month for impossible challenges?
Yeah,
no idea. No shave November is not that hard.
No, yeah, it'd be just like every other month for me. Except I did shave yesterday, or Monday night, I guess it was. So take that for what it's worth. This is shaved.
Yeah.
I tried the other November challenge, couldn't do it. Want to bump it up, huh?
So, anyhow, so we have thoroughly discussed Two Christmases on that story. That, of course, takes place in the early. That would be the 90s, right?
No, Maeve was born in 2005.
Okay. All right. She was born the same year that I'm writing about right now.
In the distant future of the year 2005.
So what year? Okay, so if Maeve was born in 2005, what time of year was she born?
She was, I guess, what? Oh, you mean time of the year?
Yeah.
Late October.
Okay. So this is crazy. No, it's not happening in the storm right now, but I don't know if you are familiar with my comic at all. But my character, Chad Little, he's one of the high schoolers in Force of Good and Evil. His mother was kidnapped over the summer of 2005 by a wizard and stolen into the other world. And so on Halloween, Chad is going to be breaching the barrier between worlds to go on an adventure in the other world at the roughly the same time that Maeve is being born. What on earth is going on in October of 2005?
Well, I mean, it's the time of the Festival of Samhain, which is traditionally, which is also when the barrier between our world and the spirit world is at its thinnest.
Right. It's the Isprednos is the Welsh word for it, right? Spirit nights. And so that's why it's happening. So that's why Chad and some of his associates can make it through. But it's just it's just crazy that, like, you and I have talked scanted years about these weird parallels that exist between your thinking and my thinking and how we've played it out. And even like our fictional calendars are aligning. And that's too weird for me, man. So Marmaduke points out that Maeve is a Zoomer.
Yeah.
And questions whether or not she has done the Tide Pod challenge.
Oh no.
I would guess not. Tell me how this fits, Brett. I would think not. If only.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to remember the
level of whimsy.
I'm trying to remember. The Tide Pod challenge was like 2008?
I think it was later than that. Let's do a little quick.
I want to say it was in the 2010s because I was in college when I heard about it.
Yeah, me too. It would have been 2010s. 2012. 2012.
It says 2017 here, according to the Brave Summarizer.
2017.
It started in.
Okay, so it started in 2012. Yeah. It got huge. It went.
Yeah. It took off in December 2017. In early 2018. So let me think. If I'm mathing
that would have
right,
been back when they still had orange in the Tide Pods.
If I'm doing my math right, okay, 2005 would have been just a little over. Oh God, she would have been Oh man,
she'd have been 7.
No, 2018. She would have been like 13.
Over 13, yeah.
Just young enough to be dumb enough to try.
God, 2018. I think I had just turned like 20 that year.
Granted, I think by then the Tide Pods were all blue to make them look less appetizing.
No, listen, I don't know about you, but I don't just automatically orange things in my mouth.
She would have been. She would have been.
Ooh, orange and blue, nummy num.
2018. She might have given it some thought, but just thought to myself,
no,
I'm gonna make myself. I know I'm gonna make myself sick if I do.
I can't help but wonder if Maeve has ever eaten any weird stuff when she was a kid.
I mean, who didn't?
I'm wondering what in particular.
I can say she probably wasn't that kid who ate bugs.
All right, not bugs.
My older brother, he was like a toddler. He used to drink mustard out of the bottle.
When my little brother, he used to eat the buds of dandelions, like ones that weren't even like fully bloomed. Just when it was starting to bud.
I mean, my friends and I used to eat lemongrass.
One time, he also took a bite of an apple and dipped it in dirt.
Yeah.
You know what? You know, fair enough.
Okay, so enough about weird things people have eaten. let's move on.
I ate
So,
styrofoam once.
okay.
Thank you, Dylan. Very cool.
We're talking about weird shit we ate.
I know.
I
I
ate
know.
potting
Thank you
soil.
for that information.
I ate potting soil once by accident because my mother had crumbled up Oreos to use in a recipe, and I thought it was the bag of Oreos, and it was potting soil with those little white pieces in it.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Fertilizer. That
Oh
can
God!
kill you. I'm glad you're not dead. Sad Robot from the
Jesus
chat says certified alleyway peach pit connoisseur
Yep.
here.
November 16th, 2005. That was horrifying enough. I know the exact date.
And I won't tell you how old I was when I
Wait,
when I
hold
ate
up.
that styrofoam.
Hold up, Forrester. What was the year again?
What year?
2005.
Yeah.
There it is again.
There it is again.
Oh no!
It's all connected.
It's all
Forrester is
connected.
was feeding off
Maeve's
some sort of
birth.
magic energies from the other world. And
Dylan,
That's
isn't
right.
that when you're... no, that was 1987. Didn't you write something set in 2005, Dylan? I thought one of your Mythoverse stories.
Oh my god. I wrote. I helped. Me and Dan worked on a dropping out, but I think that took place in like 2007.
Oh.
yeah, I think they did. I think that's right.
I have a friend. I have an art friend that I like. She was born in 2005.
Yeah.
She's 20.
Dropping out was an interesting story because I realized, and I hadn't put it together then, but Adobe Kroger is roughly the same age as my kids from Forces of Good and Evil as well. And I was like, well, that's weird. She's a little bit younger, but
Yeah, she was like
weird.
21 in like Dame Commander.
Yeah.
And it's like it's like the way she's drawn. It's like, you think she'd be at least like 30.
Yeah, it's all the smoking. It just
Well, like that's a woman right there. Like, holy shit.
So anyhow, so Ide's Lament, is that's a follow-up story to Two Christmases then? Is that how that shakes out?
Yeah.
Yeah. Forrest and I were talking about it. Yeah. It was sort of sort of an addendum to Two Christmases, where it shows Ide. It's like, okay, yeah, she's kind of found her family in like the Fomorians, but it's not really a family per se, because they see her more as like oh, my queen,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like she's lamenting the fact she doesn't really have any real sense of normalcy.
I was away. Did we talk about the fact that she was taken to the other realm to be like remade into like the ultimate Fomorian killer?
Not that much, but that was an addition you made to the.
Well, it was okay. It was on paper. She was being Frankenstein in the original comic. Nobody said why, and then she joined the Fomorians. So that's just kind of the natural conclusion.
Yeah.
So that she was, because the Fae and the Fomorians they're kind of like the gods and frost giants in Thor. They've got their own war in their world.
Many of the Fae would have been Danan's, the children of Dana. So that would have been a natural thing for them to have been fighting against. So
I think the Fae in our world worship the Tuatha De Danann, don't they, Brett?
Yeah.
Yep. Which there'd be, I mean, even then there'd be some crossover anyway, with that. But so, which I think that's an interesting thing to take a look at it too, especially because you're getting a chance to see. We've seen more of how Maeve's journey is the course in Changeling. I think it's good to give this other side to Ide, given it some space on that. I'm excited to see this. This would be really cool. Mm-hmm. So, excuse me, by the way. So Midnight Mass. Now this is Kate Dracula. Now I have to ask. So, this character, of course, she's one of the gals on the masthead we saw on the thing there. Is this Dracula as in like Bram Stoker's Dracula? The wives, children? Is that just a mystery? What's up with this?
No. Okay, so she just uses the name because it sounds cool. The origin was a Deftones song called Kim Dracula.
Okay.
That I almost went with that, but thought, do I want to get sued by Deftones record label? So I just thought, make it more legally distinct. I mean, just to keep them off my back. Yeah, she's also want to make something clear. Kate's not a vampire; she's a vampiric fae.
Bavanshi.
Yeah. It's a Scottish fairy vampire, and the distinction gets really murky once fae get involved.
Okay, so we're looking at somebody. So this is going to be in a different legendary paradigm. So the traditional Eastern European vampire weaknesses are not necessarily going to apply in this circumstance.
No, not really. No. I mean, she can be out in sunlight just fine. Doesn't do anything to her. She needs blood to stay healthy, but she doesn't need it solely.
Okay.
And also, crosses not going to do anything to her, or garlic not going to do anything to her. She's just. I mean, you could say stake to the heart would work, but a stake to the heart would kill anybody.
So what about fire?
Anyone can burn to death.
Well, yes, but well, the Martian Manhunter, fire is not about burning to death. It's about going absolutely freaking crazy. Right?
She would not
control of his whole body, right? So
okay, so yeah, it's let me put it. Yeah, I think usually with if you look at something like say Buffy the Vampire Slayer, you put you stake a vampire, cut off its head, or set it on fire, it immediately just disintegrates into ashes. Wouldn't happen to her.
Okay, she burns like you burn. So
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I
so
said,
there's sizzling and popping involved too. Okay.
Yeah, but the only thing that kind of makes her like a vampire is just that she has to drink blood just to stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
The other kind of wrote it into her backstory that when she was a kid, doctors thought she had some kind of what was it, hemo something. Was some kind of blood. It was some kind of blood condition where you have to regularly have transfusions.
Right.
Jens Forster, you probably know what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, hemophilia.
Is it?
Some hemophiliacs need blood transfusions from time to time or other treatments because they don't clot at all, and they can have have so few platelets that their bodies can't even heal from normal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure how frequent that is anymore because there's different drugs than there used to be. But I knew a kid back in the day who would need to go in for transfusions once a quarter. It wasn't full body transfusions or anything, but
sorry, I just hopped back in.
Yeah.
Why are we discussing hemophilia?
Yeah, that I wrote into Kate's backstory that when she was a kid, doctors thought she was hemophiliac or something.
Yeah.
I think we have the comic put it in our server in the private channels. I could probably pull it up if I put it there.
I'll be right back.
Have we discussed this story specifically yet, or just
just starting to?
Okay.
Yeah, I just put in backstory. Yeah, you can turn the wheel now.
Now Rhys is left.
Give him a minute. Give him a. It's the second time it's happened. Just give him a minute. But, yeah. As Cartoonicus
has departed. I am now leader of the Decepticons.
As Courage the Cowardly Dog once said, is there anything that doesn't kill vampires? Depend. You could say time doesn't. Time doesn't. Oh, there he is.
Oh, there he is.
MCU
You guys could have
Blade
gone on
doesn't,
without me.
because they
This is
haven't
for the
made his
team.
movie yet.
Oh, you talking about what about Blade?
Oh,
The MCU Blade hasn't killed any vampires yet.
Yeah.
okay. Okay. I can tell you exactly what they thought she was. They thought she was anemic.
Oh,
anemic.
anemia. That was it.
Yeah, you're okay.
Yeah. I found the comic myself.
Yeah.
A natural.
Yeah, and Forrester, you would know this. Like anemia is like you have to get regular blood transfusions just to stay healthy, right?
Or blood, or it depends on how severe it is. Because people for mild anemia, they'll treat it with iron supplements.
Yeah,
lot
that's
of
what I
women will
know.
get-
B12 and stuff like that. I mean,
Yep.
I guess there are super severe cases.
Yeah. Well, and like a lot of women will develop anemia
Erythroproteins
during
and stuff
pregnancy.
like that.
So
Yeah.
There probably is something with. I've never encountered that in the hospital, but that's
It probably
there's a lot of things that like happen in medical dramas that you never really see in real life. The kind of stuff people find in encyclopedias when they want to write smart.
right.
I mean, like it's one of those things where statistically it exists, but you're not likely to see it.
Right. Just like that condition the Mr. Glass has in the M. Night Shyamalan superhero films.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the bone disease, right?
Wasn't it brittle bone disease or?
It's a brittle bone disease. It's got a Latin name too that I used to remember and don't anymore. But yeah.
So like
anyhow,
So talking about the story to this comic, Forrester.
The Kate's main series is basically like The Wire with Faye, if you've ever seen that show.
okay.
The last host we were talking to didn't, so the reference he didn't understand at all, and that was set in Baltimore, Maryland, and
So it's really like The Wire then.
well, yeah, because I'm kind of from the same region.
Right.
David Simon, who wrote The Wire, lived in Bethesda, and I was born there, like 1 mile outside of DC. In this,
Oh man, you say Baltimore, and all of a sudden I scroll up and it's like there's the Maryland flag. Dude's wearing an Orioles cap.
Well, see, it's this little region. We call it the DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia.
Right.
We have like a foot in three worlds. And if you live in that Northern Virginia, Southern Maryland region, you're going to end up going to all those places.
Right.
And partially because like chain stores, they're finally putting them in all the cities. But like in my childhood in the 90s, like there was only one Sam's Club in Annapolis, and Walmart was in Bowie or Glen Burnie. And every different place, you had to drive to a different city. So you cover the whole state. And even now, like I had to get a piece of glass cut last year, and the only glass cutting place in Maryland was in Baltimore, right in the city. Like, so yeah, it's just how it is when you're there. So I've never lived in Baltimore, but I've drifted in and out of it. In the 90s, that was the only place there was a Sprint store. And that's where we went to get cell phones in 96. My parents did.
Yeah.
I say we, I had nothing to do with it. I was a tagging along kid.
Well,
But Brett had just picked Baltimore based on reputation. But then when it was somewhere I knew, I'm thinking like specific streets and neighborhoods. Like this scene here is the red light district, which is known as the block. Some of these are based on real businesses, but I changed the names. And the fictional Charm City Lounge is two places on the corner put together. It's two doorways made into one door. The Red Room and the Pussycat, which should tell you exactly what kind of place it is.
yes. Yeah, as if.
And so this was the Kate character is in a deal with the police. She can only feed on specifically sanctioned guilty criminals in an illegal arrangement that would both rid the city of the worst criminals and give her a semi-ethical source of blood. She's been exiled out of the Fey world by the Autumn Queen, whose position she will eventually topple and take. Who is also the same Fey realm dictator who did all of the stuff to E-Day. So all of their stories kind of twist together and overlap.
Right. Well, you don't got to spill all the beans here, man. But
well, that's not a spoiler. That's just who the characters are. In Changeling, when Kate shows up, she's the leader of the Autumn Court.
Okay.
By
Okay.
2018. This is 2011 when she's in
Okay.
the police arrangement.
So that's already been spoiled, so to speak.
Oh yeah. That's not a
okay.
surprise.
See, this is what happens when you don't read Changeling Volume 2, I guess. It's my fault.
You're gonna learn this at the end. You're gonna learn this at the end of issue 3.
Okay.
In this page, she's tracking a drug dealer and is getting within Bluetooth range to reverse tether his smartphone with a then brand new Sony Ericsson Live View, which was actually a terrible smartwatch, but it was the first one. And back then, your smartwatch had to be tethered to the phone. And like when you're looking at your emails or anything, you were just reading the phone's layout on your watch.
Right.
And the tech guy in the Orioles cap above is the one who's orchestrated this plan to reverse tether and exploit that feature. Her normal method of getting information out of them is to taste their blood, which temporarily gives her their memories.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But as he pointed out, that's dangerous because the human part of her can still get diseases, and the Fae part is like a magnet for curses and stuff that might be in their blood. Now, the story I wrote for this anthology was entirely thrown out. I only kept these first 2 pages with the drug dealer, and then all the money is in an empty yacht. But I didn't use the rest of it because my mother and I had gone back to Baltimore looking for the restaurant that my father used to take her to on her birthday called Icaros in Greektown. And unfortunately, we were a year late. It closed in 2024. So we were at a different Greek restaurant, and I was telling the waiter about the comic, and he's like, it's Christmas. You're writing about the Kalakansaras. And I'm like, the what? And he's like, you gotta hear about this. So he gets the cook, brings the cook out to talk to me, and he starts telling me this lore dump. And I'm sitting there texting it all to myself, trying to get as much of it written down. How there's like these little gremlins that all year long saw at the world tree's roots, and the veil between the spirit and human world is weakest during the 12 days of Christmas, and they come out and they'll spill milk and break glass and do all kinds of mischief, and they're generally harmless. They just like to cause problems. And I worked that into my story. It's like that's why all the money is in a yacht, because it involves Greek Christmas demons who don't care about spending the money. They just like chaos. And if baby is born during the 12 days and not baptized before January 6th, he'll turn into a Kalakansaras at Christmas. And they were telling me about the wards and charms. You hang a pig jaw over a doorway, and basil and holy water, and all the kind of Eastern Orthodox lore that I was oblivious to because I don't know anything about Greece after the Hellenistic era.
Right.
They've got like over 1,000 years. Like Greece and Greek folklore to modern Greeks doesn't even resemble Greek mythology in any way. It's a radically different culture.
Yeah. Okay.
And a lot of that is still alive in Baltimore and Greektown. And so they're telling me all this, and I threw out everything I wrote. But the clincher of it all was the Orthodox church at the end of that very same block is called St. Nicholas.
Right.
It's named after that St. Nicholas.
See, and that was the next question I had there, is because I don't know if you guys know, but Nick Mueller and I a couple years ago did a St. Nicholas comic for Christmas a few years ago. And so I mean, what?
I think I do remember that.
Yeah. It was really fun. It was really fun. And I took a legend about St. Nicholas and gave it a superhero treatment. So
yep. Boy, I was so excited. That was just like last month. It was like in September.
Oh yeah.
That was really late I had already scripted an entire story, and then I'm calling Dylan on the phone. Remember that, Dylan?
Yes, he was ecstatic. He's like, "Oh my god,
that's great." See,
I thought it had actually happened to me. I had the level of excitement as though I had actually seen these critters.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I've got when we're done, because I don't want to take up more of the story with my stories, but if you guys want to stick around after the show, I have a similar story that I'll have to share with you guys at one point too. But yeah, I think it's great when you're going along in the world and all of a sudden like inspiration like grabs you by the head and just shakes you.
Also, I just wanted to plug Baltimore's Greektown. the fire hydrants are painted blue and white, which I just think is the coolest detail, like the Greek flag. Like they really get into their ethnicity. Like there aren't that many of those little pockets left in America. Like
Yeah.
80 years ago, it would have been like a Greek speaking place. Now it's pretty modern and generic. Most of the ethnic restaurants are gone now, and it's like Subway and stuff, but there's still like 4 or 5 of them in an Orthodox church. So like that, old culture hangs on.
Well, that's
You
cool.
should see what happened to Little Italy out in New York.
Yeah. Well, Baltimore had a Little Italy too. That's,
Like Little Italy in New York's like a single block now, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my influence is from there's The Wire, Homicide: Life on the Streets, The Block, and We Own This City. Like David Simon's written a lot of stuff. It's not so much though that like I take inspiration from that, is that we both just came out of the same pool of influences.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have the same worldview at all. Like I think we're opposites in a lot of things, but his work has always been there. First I ever knew of him, I must have been like 4 years old, 4, 5, 6, some tiny child. And he spoke at the book club at my mother's YWCA, where she taught the little people school. I mean, if I met him, I was a kid and didn't know the difference, but that's how we came by a signed copy of the original Homicide book from, I think, 1991. The nonfiction. A lot of stuff like the copy machine trick in The Wire. If that seems weird that kids in 2008 would believe a copy machine is a polygraph, that's because that actually happened in the 80s. And they put like lie and true on piece of paper, and then like 2 pieces of paper with true and 1 with lie, and then it'd be like, what is your name? And it would print out true. Do you live at so and so address? Yes. And it would print out true. Did you kill him? And it prints out lie. And that actually worked. But anyways, that book, which was probably not appropriate for me at the age I started reading it, that's how I came by it. So that's what I mean when I say like small state where everything's kind of tightly woven together.
Very funny. Very funny. It is a small state.
What's funny is the police in Baltimore, despite their bad portrayal in that, were not above using the show to recruit. When I was at the Anne Arundel Community College in Annapolis, they had a table set up. All the police departments did. They were giving out these little Matchbox cars painted to be Baltimore cars. And their opening to the kids was literally, have you seen The Wire? It's like, would you like to live that in real life? Join the Baltimore PD. And they offered like this ridiculous $4,000 bonus and stuff. And they paid to move you to Baltimore. Like they had a recruitment drive that could rival the military.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah. Lord knows where it came from. I don't know.
And I've seen how
Don't
the
worry
military
about
does recruit. I saw this one picture. They're trying to recruit the military with like cosplayers and shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, no.
Dylan, you remember the GTA commercial, in the military? Remember that?
Yes. Oh my god.
So that's crazy. So in this situation, would Kate Dracula, is she functioning? She's an unofficial affiliate of the police. So, but at the same time, is she like doing superhero kind of stuff, or is it more of this police procedural kind of stuff?
Closer to a procedural. It's Fae and changelings and beings from the other world live in Baltimore. Oh God, this is a terrible pun. One of the neighborhoods is Fells Point, and the Fae section is Kells Point. That's slightly out of phase. Like when you're on the street, it looks like a normal Baltimore neighborhood with row houses, but you can only access it like by driving down an alley on one street. It's not on Google Maps. So they've got like a whole neighborhood that's mildly hidden. Like you could wander down the right alley to find it, but you're not going to see it on a satellite. And they live as like 5th class citizens where they're not legally human. They're certainly not American citizens. And if they leave their general area, they're in danger of the Paladins, but they can stay there. And so all of the problems that you would have with like a minority immigrant community like that, it's in a lot of ways, it's more like like 1840s Irish immigrant kind of what Baltimore had a lot of, or like, you know, Gangs of New York, you know, like the Scorsese movie,
Right.
like 5 Points and all that. It's very much that culture. The Fae have a street gang called the Dead Ends, they wear like Peaky Blinders type clothes, even though it's the present day.
Right.
And people see them around, but don't necessarily think they're supernatural. They just think it's like one of the gangs. And their signature weapon is they've got Fomorian knives that were forged in the other world, and they're basically unbreakable, and they'll glow in danger, and that makes the Dead Ends gang pretty formidable. And higher than the Dead Ends is the Black Rose Mafia, that's actually involved in the real organized crime, and was a concept Dylan and I were originally doing with the Demon Yakuza, and some various things happened that I ended up recycling ideas from that ended up going into one of his solo projects. And the police they make Kate infiltrate the Dead Ends gang. So her main series is about the trials and tribulations and things that happen. Of course, the gang knows she's a plant, and the police know they know. And there's a lot of this back and forth where everybody is like playing 4D chess and is already knows what the other one is up to.
So kind of like that other Scorsese picture. It was a redone of a Japanese film. Except it's Boston. The Departed.
I don't actually know that one, but I'll take your word on it.
I might have the name wrong. Anyway, it's got Ben Affleck. I mean, it's got Matt Damon and Leo DiCaprio and
That's The Departed.
Yeah,
that's the Departed.
And Jack Nicholson.
Yep.
So
That's-
I need to watch that movie again.
I need to see
watched it in several years. But anyway, wait, that's actually, and it's also really funny. One thing I do want to interject here, talking about Baltimore. Of course, you may or may not know this. The city of Baltimore is named after Baltimore in Ireland.
Ireland, yeah.
And in the 16th century, virtually the entire village of Baltimore was kidnapped by Barbary pirates.
We talked about that on Twitter, because I was like, wait, I didn't know that. And you were like, no, wrong Baltimore.
Yep. So that's so you're talking about, there being this secret, Fey enclave within Baltimore. All of a sudden it gets real creepy.
Well, there was a ship of prisoners that sank that's known as the Ghost Ship Baltimore. Yep. And I pinched that. I wasn't really bound for Baltimore. I think it was going to New York or Boston. But I stole from that the idea that the Paladin Order had kicked all of those beings out of the, like British islands in Europe back around the 1800s. And the New World and Maryland is where they were exiled to.
Yeah.
And it's the Paladins who would have originally put the, like the enchantment on their neighborhood, which at that time was probably enough for everybody to live in. Now it's like a overly cluttered ghetto.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Very, very fun. Okay, so the next one, you got a guy in a cowboy hat at Donner's Pass. Tell me, what is going on here?
Nebel, it's your show.
Time for the ambush art, Nebel.
That'll be me. So this will be a Hungering Cold.
Yep.
It's the story is about a park ranger looking for a lost hiker in Donner Pass, where absolutely nothing is going to go wrong. Why would you think that?
Perfect.
Don't worry about the blood splatter in the snow. That's fine. There's nothing wrong. Why would you
it's
think
normal.
It's perfectly normal.
It's just tomato juice. Somebody just
beauty.
went for a walk in the snow. They took their Bloody Mary with them.
Here's the beauty. Listen to this. I got to read this dialogue off here, this monologue here. I've worked in Donner Pass for 8 years. Sometimes working here, you hear that the land remembers, that it knows what happened on it. And that's great copy. That's marvelous. So is this going to be like a Is there anything special about this park ranger? Or is he just a normal dude that's about to have a really bad day?
Park ranger. It's yeah, that's Ranger Rivers. He's pretty normal. There's nothing terribly extraordinary about him except he's gonna have a pretty weird shift at work today. I mean, nothing's going wrong. Why would you think that?
On a scale of 1 to Leon Kennedy's first day as a cop in Raccoon City.
Yeah. I'm seeing the ghoul in the sunglasses reflection, and I'm wondering what's about to go down.
Well, this one's not on drugs. At least it didn't have much to do with it. No, so there's a couple of different inspirations. Obviously, Donner Pass, a certain party happened there where nobody had a particularly good time. How familiar are you with the Donner Party story?
Oh, I'm from West Nebraska. We know about it.
Oh, good. Oh, good. All right. So, you know a bit about this. You know about a bit about the party.
Oh yeah.
And got a little bit. Decided to take a little shortcut. It didn't. Well, it went pretty hot, and that was kind of part of the problem. And they ended up then they got snowed in the Sierra Nevadas, kind of got stuck for a while, got a little peckish, and yeah, people started falling over and not getting up, and they decided, hey, we got nothing else, this will make an all right snack. And most of something that I've gotten to, because I've been drawing like outline thumbnails for the rest of the story. And one of the things, a couple of data points about it, like most of the people who partook in cannibalism only did it after somebody like basically keeled over and died of starvation, and they waited until then to start eating up their loved ones, and they took great pains to make it, as humane as possible, trying to avoid having people eat their relatives and that kind of thing. As humane as you can be when cannibalism is involved. And but there's one guy that had a bit of infamy in the party. A feller, a German immigrant by the name of Louis I hear Kiesberg, but when I see the name, I want to say Kesseberg. I'm going to go with Kesseberg because that's how the name looks to me. Anyway, there's one guy, Kesseberg, who's kind of had a bad reputation in the party for, stirring stuff up. He starts fights. He's really violent. He beats his wife because he's just a fantastic person. And he is also the one person in the party who has been alleged to have actively killed people to eat them. And the people he is alleged to have eaten were children. So of all the people in the party, he is the one with the darkest blotch on his reputation in history.
I can imagine why.
Yeah. He, of course, denied that he killed children to eat them. Of course, another interesting data point about him doing this is that he did this with a frozen ox corpse available for him to eat. But kind of passed up on it for something a little more fresh.
Tender.
And tender, yes. Fresh and tender. Oh, God. Yeah, he's a pretty messed up dude. He managed to start a lawsuit against people who were, claiming he was a child-eating cannibal. He did eventually win, and I'll have to look it up again to make sure that this is the case. But as far as I know, he kind of got nominal damages in the form of $1.
Wow. So this, of course, is going to be. Are we talking about a thing where we're dealing with an event in the present with your story, or is it a situation where it's an echoes of a past horror?
Well, that's going to be part of the mystery, is how
part
much
of mystery.
of this
Okay,
is
excellent.
how much of this is the past horror, and how much of this might be something simply imitating it?
Okay. Okay. Well, that sounds really scary, and I love it.
He was a bad dude and he ran a bunch of bad boys.
God. Louis
Gotta get to
Kitzenberg
Razor
was a
good and
bad
rusty.
dude.
Okay. So, moving on. Another Dylan story. Who summoned me?
Oh, my turn.
Yes.
All right. I got this one. Okay, so this story here, I had the. This was really fun to brainstorm. It was basically like a group of teenage girls. They get together like around Christmas Eve, and they're like, "Okay, we're going to summon, we're going to summon a creepypasta monster, or at least what they believe is one." And obviously, no, that is not what they end up summoning. There's a little joke exchange that I put in this, sort of a not a joke, but a funny exchange I put in there. It's like, are you sure this is gonna work? Of course it is. I got it off the forums.
Are you guys? How familiar are you guys with Mystery Science Theater?
I've watched it. Yes.
Okay. There's
Very.
one episode where they're riffing on a science fiction movie, and I'm gonna forget the name of it right now. But in the science fiction movie, the spaceship has rescued some castaway space witches, and they're doing some sort of weird interpretive dance in the quarters that they've been given. And the riff from the robots is, "Oh, get women together," and it's either a Tupperware party or witchcraft.
Right.
Neville, do you think that was?
Oh, I
Crow or
remember that.
Tom?
That's a classic.
Was that-
Yep, I remember
was
that
that
too.
Space Mutiny. That was the movie film.
Oh,
Was that-
oh my God, I remember Space Mutiny.
Yeah.
Red
actually-
Brown,
Big
yelling.
McLarge
"Ah!"
Yeah, here we go. Somebody from the chat, Sad Robot, says Space Mutiny. How could you forget? Just slipped my mind.
which
for a
means
second.
that's a Mike episode.
Yes. Yeah, it is. Well, and the thing about it is like we actually ended up using Space Mutiny in Forces of Good and Evil in a story called Day in the Life, Chapter 2, Chad Gets a Girl, where our hero Chad takes a girl out to the movies, and it's Space Mutiny. This
Oh
is the
my
movie to go see.
God.
So anyway, I just had to bring that up because the setup seems a little similar, and I had to nod it. So they're doing a internet magic, which of course always seems like a really great idea.
Yeah. It does involve Althea from Mythics. She's sort of investigating like this these strange incidents where where young impressionable people are given real, honest to God demon summoning rituals. You know what? Because you read them on like internet stories all the time, and
Right? Yeah.
obviously someone's preying upon young impressionable kids, and it shows Althea in her in her familiar. They're trying to get to her place. They're able to track her IP, but it's in heavy snow. They're not. Let's just say, things just do not go as they hope. It goes Evil Dead really quick.
Right. Of course.
And I will not say anything else other than that this is actually a backdoor pilot or something.
Okay. Nice. Is it the story of the survivors?
The singular survivor.
Ah. All right.
This is probably the least Christmas related, although I guess Nebel is yours isn't at Christmas specifically, is it? It's just winter. Nebel? Guess not. Anyway.
What up?
He went out with the cigarette.
No, I said yours isn't set at Christmas, is it? It's just in the winter.
It's sometime during the winter. I was not particularly specific other than it being in 2018.
Yeah.
Mine's actually said during like Christmas Eve, so
Neville, did there end up being an actual Wendigo?
There's a spirit involved. I'm not going to reveal too much more about it.
Yeah, don't spoil it. Don't spoil it.
Okay, well, no, there was I thought he was serious, and I was going to put it in the book about Neville. You know what I'm talking about? Thanks, Santa.
Yep. No, I did this. I was originally pitching different ideas for what I was going to go with. And I kind of had the idea for a little bit of having like a Wendigo story, but from the Wendigo's perspective, where it like comes across some campers or something. And it's like, oh boy, a Christmas present. And then it goes like, thanks, Santa. And then it digs into its innards and just chows down.
I still want to do that with like chibis. Because the Kickstarter
that would be a good chibi thing, although it'd be pretty gory.
The Kickstarter doesn't mention it.
Human flesh.
Yeah. The Kickstarter doesn't mention it, but the chibi version of Adobe and Althea and Maeve are going to be sort of a non-canonical Greek chorus. The Adobe and Althea are reading stories to the kids, and they are bickering with each other about whether these stories are appropriate or not. Because Althea wants to like inform and uplift the kids, and Adobe wants the stories to be badass. And the chibi version, if you know about the Myth of Chibis, our little webcomic,
yeah,
they're non-canon, and they know they're non-canon. They're kind of they're not totally fourth wall aware, but more so than the main series is. And they, like I said, they function as like out of continuity comic relief and or Greek chorus and kind of continuity glue, as they kind of will comment on the stories that have just happened. And help me out, Dylan. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. They're kind of like the intermission between stories.
Okay.
They're the hosts.
Yeah, the hosts, exactly.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, like a horror host. That's great. It's actually funny you bring that up, because from the chat, people are keeping on the Mystery Science thing, talking about Merlin's Shop of Mystical Wonders, which of course is definitely not a pieced together Ernest Borgnine picture, where Ernest Borgnine does the same thing. So now on the screen, I have to once again make it about me. This is Lol Troll, a character from some of the stories that I've worked on, who is in fact an actual troll who uses magic to torment people through the internet. So
seems like my kind of guy.
So we were talking about who is it behind sending the real magic spells to torment people. Well, it might be the Lol Troll.
I like the name.
No.
You know the guy who convinced you that Alt F4 made you invincible? This is the guy.
I'm almost tempted that some fake that is fake. Oh no! I'm tempted. I probably won't do it, but not in this story. No.
Yeah. The Lol Troll is from a serial novel I started and I hadn't finished yet.
A funny part about the image, she's holding the phone because she's actually like phonetically reading like Latin.
Right, of course.
She has no idea what it actually says, but she's reading it off thinking it's summoning Slender Jeff. my OC do not steal creepypasta monster.
Slender Jeff shows up behind you, and he's like, "Nothing personnel, kid." You felt a feeling.
I also love the like generic Starbucks sticker on her phone. Like the priorities are funny to me.
Yeah, I needed something on her phone. I thought that'd be funny.
That's hilarious. I hadn't picked up that that's what that was. That's funny.
Yeah, Siren Java, the in-universe equivalent.
Right.
Oh yeah, because we have these fake brands. Brett gets to be the McDonald's. The McGowan's is the in-universe McDonald's.
Right. We have a bunch of those in our universe as well. Our character Greg, who goes from being a villain school student in high school to working a series of fast food joints and places, and he gets to work at the Whoopty Burger at one point, and so
Dylan, I know how we'll introduce your story in the Chibis.
How?
When Maeve and Althea are reading to the kids, Maeve and Arlene are not listening. They're just sitting there, both scrolling on phones. They take the phones away, and this is what they're reading about.
That's grand. That is grand.
And then afterwards, they're both horrified. And I don't know, throw the phones out the window or something.
You kids need some wholesome entertainment, like we're about to give you now.
Oh my god!
I just noticed we lost Brent. He's in the chat, but I don't see him in the. Did I kick you, man?
Be gone, thought.
Brent says he's phonetically reading Enochian. That's what's made for talking to spirits. And Sad Robot says, I would like to buy 30 issues of Slender Jeff, please.
I will draw
This
that.
just in: a couple girls in Waukesha, Wisconsin, have been convicted of attempting to summon Slender Jeff.
I nearly moved to Waukesha, Wisconsin. That's hilarious. Oh,
Wasn't it
shut off my PC.
Wasn't it? Did it happen to be in 2005?
No, it was before that. It was in 2000 actually. So it would have been probably 2001 when we actually got around to it. My wife and I were talking about going out there to Bible college, but then we got pregnant, and we decided that trying to go to Bible college and be new parents while being newly married couple was not a good idea.
God, 2000. I was like 2.
Yep. Yeah, my oldest boy was born about 8 months after that conversation. So, anyhow, here I thought Leo would do it.
Give him a minute.
There are 2 stories that were not mentioned here.
Oh, did we skip past them?
No, they were added afterwards. One is a very short war story that is set during the Iraq occupation that explains how the artifact was the eye artifact was found in the modern day. And that involves some soldiers who have just opened a care package that Maeve's mother had packed. So that's how it ties in. That one's called Care Package. And then there's a Thanksgiving short where Kate Dracula comes to Maeve's house at Thanksgiving, pretending to be a young person that's like a troubled young person that Sasha's church is like taking in for Thanksgiving.
Okay.
But she's actually checking out, this new changeling that her magic sensors have detected. I've never been quite sure how the Fae know where other Fae are exactly. That's explained in the lore documents. I'm not sure. She knows, and she's checking her
right.
out. But Maeve doesn't know who she is or why she's there. She thinks it's really someone from the church.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just a short Thanksgiving story. the turkey was undercooked, and Maeve's father is complaining, and he says something about like, "Oh, I can taste blood in it." He's like microwaving it, and Kate's like, "Well," she's just kind of like, "Well, that doesn't seem so bad," because she's.
Except birds are full of diseases, Forrester.
I know that. It's more just her reacting to the word blood. It's not really true. He's just cantankerous, and it's something I overheard at Thanksgiving once, and it was a guy my mom knew who could complain about everything. He sent his soup back because he swore it had uncooked flour, and I was eating the same damn soup, and there was nothing wrong with it. It's like that guy was just. So I ended up immortalizing his quote in the comic.
Hold on. I just saw the sad robot quote. Slender Jeff is actually a Puritan who gets people to summon him, Bala, to catch a predator. Teleports behind you. Have a seat. Sits down and looks at you with like lidless eyes for a solid 5 minutes. Is like, "Am I pretty enough, mommy?"
Now, hey Dylan, that'd be something for the paladins to do, like sting operations.
Oh my god!
So
intentionally summoning something so they can contain it.
Well, no, I meant like people think there's like put out bad information so that when people summon a demon, they're actually summoning a paladin there.
Have a seat. Right over there.
Oh my god, that's so great!
Shows up at some like 12-year-old slumber party. Like stomps on the Ouija board on the way there.
Stomp the stuff, light as a feather, stiff as a board. Anyway,
this is how our Discord things start. Like it'll start out as like a RPG at a normal time, and then it's like 2:33 in the morning, and it's just become like this, and we get a whole new book out of it.
So the Convergence story. Now, is this the last story that's going to be in the book then?
No.
Okay.
This is sort of a just everything the story's been building up to. Like it comes to a head here. We have a couple of stories afterwards that are like we have one sort of one-off that's featuring Dan Sacro's character Skip Sparks, the F1 racer from his racing manga,
right?
And after that is sort of in a I think it's actually just called Epilogue, where it shows. It's another story with Maeve and her dad Joel, and we kind of get to see from his perspective, sort of how he's kind of trying, because he has a very sort of strained relationship with his own daughter. He can't really connect with her at all, and we kind of see from his point of view that. Because Two Christmases is very much Maeve and Ide's point of view, so it's almost like a one-sided argument. And then we see the other side in that Maeve isn't exactly trying either, and it's he had just picked her up from an incident she had at like a school dance. She had like a panic attack. He's taking her out to eat, but for the life of him, he cannot figure out a way to connect for. I just skipped like 2 stories. Holy shit!
Well, hold on, Dylan. I want to do this without spoiling, but it's almost like Pulp Fiction in how it's circular. Something almost happens in Two Christmases, but does not, and then in the epilogue, we find out why.
Yeah.
Characters in the epilogue don't know, because the epilogue is, what year is that? Dylan, that's 2010, right?
Epilogue?
No. She's 5 years old and 10. That's 2017.
Yeah.
17.
Changeling takes place in 2019. This is like 2017, where she's 12.
Yeah. So, what almost but doesn't happen in 2019. Then we see what happened in. Yeah. Yeah, Maeve almost eats a Tide Pod in 2019. But something her dad says sticks, and then we get
Nothing.
the flashback and we find out why she didn't eat the Tide Pod.
He says nothing. He says nothing personnel.
Also, I just want to point out the Slender Jeff versus Candlejack at the bottom here.
Don't say it.
Oh God.
Chat's on fire tonight, and I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
It all ties back to Slender Jeff.
All ties back to Slender Jeff, which is great.
I don't know,
Neville.
y'all. I don't know.
Neville, we need to draw that shit like pronto.
Oh, Neville's back too. I didn't realize he wasn't
Brett's
there.
back.
How are there two Nevilles?
Sorry, there was a guy with a bag and a candle coming in my window.
I have two Nevilles.
That's
I don't really know Candlejack. I didn't know that was the lore there.
Yeah, it's from Freakazoid.
Oh, I didn't watch any of the comedies in the 90s, like Animaniacs. That's what they probably were good. I was a brat. I only liked the action shows. I thought the comedies were boring.
That's weird.
I know.
That's like,
No, I understand. I was kind of the same way.
I mean, I watched like The Simpsons and King of the Hill. I like the adult comedies. I just kind of thought
Because it made you feel, if you're anything like me, it's because watching them made you feel very grown up.
and they just made me laugh harder. I just kind of felt the kid ones were neither fish nor fowl. They're actually funnier now. Like I've been on a binge of Garfield and Friends, which was okay then. I love it now.
Yeah, it's that's the thing is Garfield and Friends is actual adult humor. So now that you're grown up, you can appreciate it.
Exactly.
Similarly, Freakazoid is the same way. And I was a senior in high school when Freakazoid was first on, and so it was one of those things where it was just like I was young enough to appreciate the superhero pastiche, but I was old enough to appreciate the pop culture lampooning.
Oh, I could not take making fun of superheroes as a child. I remember The Tick existed, and I found its existence offensive.
Oh, it's brilliant.
I imagine it is, but as a kid, like Batman and X-Men and those shows were like scripture to me, and any joking on the superhero concept just made me irrationally angry.
Well, it's actually really funny that you bring that up because we actually did a show I can't remember what it was last summer, talking about the propensity of superhero comics to make fun of themselves. That there is like there's back going all the way back to the 40s. There's been this strain within superhero comics of self pastiche that has worked that's been in there.
That's part of the brilliance. Batman the Animated Series did not mind occasionally taking the piss out of the whole Batman concept.
Yep,
they did it many times, and
well, and there are also whole characters like Herbie the Fat Fury that exists to poke itself in the eye of the superhero genre while still telling superhero stories, right?
I partially colored a tie-in for Fat Fury. It was a crossover with like Fat Fury and Tomorrow Girl. With Ben Dunn, Antarctic Press. Because I do a lot of work for AP.
Oh yeah.
I color like 2 pages because like 2 of them were drawn by Ben and the rest was drawn by someone else. So I've sort of officially kind of worked on Fat Fury related stuff.
Right. Yep. I wondered if you had. I knew you'd done. I knew that Antarctic had done some Fat Fury stuff because he's in the public domain. His copyrights weren't renewed back in the day. But my first exposure to Fat Fury was from my friend Rolf, who passed away a few years ago. But he was a big fan of Fat Fury from when he was young because he was an older gentleman and grew up in the Marvel age and was reading all those Marvel books, but also those other comics. And so he introduced me to Fat Fury through some of his fan work and stuff back in the day. And I was so yeah. That's how I got to know about it. But anyhow, Now the Skip Sparks story, another installment of the of Dan's F1 comic.
Oh,
Which
before we move on, can we just glaze the artwork a second? I just want to point out this is Leandro from Adobe Kroger, and we got him back.
Yes,
and he is just an absolute master. Like,
oh, absolutely.
I don't even know why we are able to get him. He should be at DC right now. So
I think he likes you guys. I think it's part of it.
Well, also I had been wanting to color. I'd colored him a couple of times in 2020. One was a gift picture for Dylan that Dan commissioned, and Dylan had a cat that passed away. It was like a 21-year-old.
I had a whole bunch of things. I had a whole bunch of animals that year that passed away. My cousin and my uncle passed away that year. 2020 was just a messed up year, and not for like the obvious reasons, but for like personal reasons.
I had that in 2018 where my bird, 2 cats, and my grandma all died at the same time. So I was not participating in that like indie comics golden age that everyone blazes about and misses nostalgically. I skipped 2018.
Yeah.
So Dan had commissioned one of Dylan's characters from Leandro as like a gift to cheer him up, and I colored it, and I was dying to get my hands on it again. And I begged Dan to let me color Adobe Kroger, and he just really likes how it looks in black and white.
It does look great in black and white.
It does.
It looks great in the page I colored too, but that Dan, man with a vision.
Yes.
So it's like, okay, then I'll make my own Adobe Kroger with blackjack and hookers. So there was only one guy for the final crossover. If it wasn't Leandro, it wasn't going to happen at all. That was it.
So, well, I'm glad it worked out then, because this looks like a dynamic story. So, and
have we seen E-Day yet? I guess we've seen her as a baby. That's a teenage adult E-Day at the bottom after they've completely Frankensteined her into a killing machine.
Okay.
That dialogue isn't there. She doesn't really say "at last the human realm" in the story. That's a little cheesy, but I stuck that there for the Kickstarter audience because the context.
Yeah, makes sense. To set up that transition, that makes sense. I can understand that from perspective.
The shield Althea's got there is a seal of Solomon, but the Hebrew letters are complete gibberish because I don't like dabbling in anything actual. When I do fiction, I keep it fictional. So there's nonsense letters, but that's based on an actual protection seal of Solomon from one of the 16th century grimoires. I think it's the Lesser Key of Solomon.
Okay.
You missed opportunity to put in secret messages.
I thought about that, but I didn't. And in K. Dracula, I had one of those alchemy circles like that, and the Greek text was just a Bible verse. But it's like the Slender Jeff story. What's his name? Soul Finder. Doug Ernst.
Doug Ernst, yeah.
Yeah, the Latin in there, he always makes it up or uses something that is for laymen, so that even though the characters are priests, he's not actually putting any real priestly liturgy in there just in case someone that is not in the priesthood tries to use it. And I'm a Baptist, so I don't take it that literally, but I err on the side of caution. I'm not going to put any real Kabbalah symbols in. Just in case.
Well, seems fair. So one of the things I wanted to talk about to change subjects to the Skip Sparks story specifically was I found its inclusion interesting for 2 reasons. One is I have been meaning to ask Dan for 4 years, and I just haven't ever remembered to do it, about whether that story was in fact connected to the Mythoverse, because it doesn't seem to fit. It's sort of. I mean, obviously there are lots of mundane things about the Mythoverse, right? There are people that have normal lives and work fast food jobs and build houses and all of the things normal people do. So it definitely seems like it could fit, but I didn't know whether it was supposed to, or whether that experiment was merely to be its own thing, right?
It is in the Mythoverse, but it's sort of it's on our human side of the Mythoverse, so Skip would have like no interaction with that supernatural side. That's sort of our.
Skips is basically an in-universe celebrity.
It's kind of like in my head, I think compared to like G.I. Joe, Transformers, and Jim, where they had their, like they were a connected universe, but the Joes and the Transformers and the cartoons were completely separate. Jim was a pop star in that universe, but she never met Optimus Prime or overlapped in any way.
Right.
But you did see threads of the worlds to know they were coexisting, but irrelevant to each other.
So there's a good chance that Maeve is aware that Skip Sparks exists.
Oh yeah,
Spark will never know that Maeve is
one of the other Mythoverse.
If Maeve was into F1, she would.
Yes.
Okay, Forrester, you need to draw a G.I. Gem.
That's just Debbie Moore and G.I. Jane.
Oh, no, G.I. Gem in a hologram. Like, come on, dude. And G.I. Joe says, okay, if they're connected, like, do that shit.
Oh, wait, Dylan, we came up with that canonically. No, Maeve doesn't give a hoot about the racing and stuff, but Joel is a fan. Joel does watch.
Yeah.
Joel had been watching. As a matter of fact, we were going to put in 2 Christmases in one of the flashback years. Joel was watching Martin Sparks' accident. Like he was a fan of that racing family and follows it on TV.
Like Speed Racer. What different?
Yeah.
That would be such an amazing, like, one-off, like, Skip Sparks story. It's like in the style of like Speed Racer.
Now Dan will never speak to me again. So, now that I've said that,
I would totally draw that.
So with that, you have before we call it a night, I do want to go ahead and spend a little bit of time talking about the pledge levels, because I think it's really cool. You guys have got this 100-page book, a digital for $10. So it's very attainable for folks. And at 100 pages, I think you're getting something for your money while also investing in this kind of a project. So I think that's actually pretty cool. Now you've got estimated delivery at December. So you guys have already done a bunch of work putting this thing together at this point then, yeah?
Yep,
that's
correct.
Cool. That's very cool. Very cool. And of course, you get a whole bunch of their previous stuff. Is it everything Mythoverse for 15?
No, just back issues of Adobe Kroger, Changeling, Mythics, and Triple Crown.
Okay.
And that's and to be clear, if anyone doesn't know what that means, it's everything we've published up till now.
Okay. So excluding some of like the webcomic stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now the soft cover, $30, right? And which is still pretty good for a crowdfund of that size. Now, what is the shipping go for that on? Are you guys on that? I have no idea.
Oh, we're partnered with Critical Blast.
Okay, they're dealing with that.
Yeah.
Yep.
They handled shipping for our 5th anniversary Kickstarter. We liked the work they did. They're once again handling that leg of the operation for us.
Now, here's the thing I find really interesting here. For just $10 more, it's the hardcover. And at 100+ pages for a hardcover, that's a reasonable sized shelf decoration for that. And that's not too bad, I don't think, for a hardcover on something like that.
You should have seen when we were on Eliza Barr's stream last night. He pulled out this Jack Kirby omnibus that was about as thick as an encyclopedia.
And It's crazy that Kirby drew all that in like 2, maybe 3 years. Because by 75, I think he was back at Marvel. That was
Yeah. Yeah, I can't
he
remember
was
how
like,
old that was.
it was about this thick. I'm not kidding.
Mhm.
The man was a machine.
Our main goal on this Kickstarter is not so much, we're not really trying to like, break the bank with this as much as like reassert brand identity and almost like give a refresher to it's almost like you could say the Mythoverse is entering phase 2, and this is a refresher that gets everybody oriented on the characters, the stories, the direction, and kind of establishes a unified identity across the different series, and like establishes look and feel and audience loyalty and things like that. This will probably end up selling better in back issues afterwards. But establishing something on this scale is kind of a challenge in itself.
Mm-hmm.
But
There's certain brand dominance.
yeah, basically. I mean, it has a unique look and feel, especially in the indie market. It's not quite like anything else that's there. And it sort of walks the line between a lot of different tones. It's got a foot in the urban fantasy. It's got a foot in the superhero, but it also kind of has that like Assassin's Creed kind of historical timeline thing going on, but a lot more of the modern stuff than Assassin's Creed has at all. It's like there are things you could compare it to, but like I'm a big fan of Kolchak the Night Stalker.
Right.
They're into like Supernatural. I mean, I like Supernatural okay too. I think Dylan's a bigger fan than I am, but
I have the anti-possession tattoo on my chest.
exactly. So
I've never even seen a single episode of Supernatural.
I didn't think you would have. That's why I wasn't. But
If
you would.
you take that plunge, if you take that plunge, Rhys, don't go past season 5.
No. But I knew Kolchak. I knew you'd have seen that. Like,
oh yeah, I know Kolchak.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Although I wasn't exposed to Kolchak until like just a few years ago.
Yeah, same here actually. I discovered it around 2020.
Yeah.
So.
I became aware of the Kolchak in discussing like other people's like paranormal detective books, like Midnight Mystery specifically. I was Twitter messaging the guy, and he was talking about Kolchak, and I was like, hadn't really been aware of it, so I did some internet research on it, and then I ended up being able to buy like the first season at Walmart for like $5. So I enjoy it. I enjoy it. It's clever stuff. Gavin was
he was an icon. Darren McGavin. Yep.
Yeah. And but the thing that was funny about it is I had already, before I'd even read that, developed my own paranormal detective character, and written stories with him. So,
well, Kolchak is one of the great unfinished shows. One of those things like Firefly, where it had one season, and the mystery of what it could have been sort of invites people to, keep. You remember that one episode where it's like something that's going to happen in 50 years, and he's saying something other about, I won't be here in 2025. Will you? And that's how it ended.
Yeah, I was. So, but yeah. So anyway, and of course there's the soft cover, the gift from Mythoverse with a bunch of other swag in there. You can get your face in the book for $75.
I'm giving a hardcover to anyone who backs at the Cameo tier. I am paying the difference personally. I want anyone that pays that $75 gets a hardcover. I'm just making that up out of pocket. I know it says soft cover, but
oh really? Okay.
Yeah.
Does it? Oh.
It does, but I'm not honoring that. It's going to be hard. Like,
well, that sounds like a heck of a deal, guys.
Like I said,
and your face in the book for $75. So.
Well, I'd like to start these hardcover volumes, kind of like what Common America does, a European model, on like an annual basis. I mean, we've already started with the 5-year anniversary collection,
right?
And then just keep that momentum going. But
yeah, They can do that through the volume game. That's the thing they've got going for them.
The main thing I want people to get out of this campaign, even if they don't back it, is just awareness and a sense of what the Mythoverse is, and in terms of look, feel, and tone. Because we kind of experimented a lot in the beginning, and we were a lot more disparate with tone than we probably would be now. We tried kind of a bit more on the adult side, a bit more on the kiddie side, and now we've kind of figured out our sweet spot. And now that we have that, you know, but that level of recognition is the main thing that I'm, as like assistant editor, looking for right now. So
okay. Very cool. Well, guys, it has been longer than normal, but that's okay. I started on time, and here we are we're a half an hour late.
I still want to get you and Matt Krotz in a stream and talk about like theology type stuff.
Yeah,
I still think that'd be fun. I wish my name was Matt, because then like three Matts in a stream would be epic, but I had to have a weird name. It's actually Forrester. That's not a screen name. People think, but no, that's straight up Stuart Forrester Randlett. That's my middle name.
Yep. So that would be fun. That would be fun sometime. I know I need to give Matt a call one of these days again. But anyhow, changing the subject. Thank you guys so much for coming on. For everybody out there, the link to the campaign is in the description box. And let's see here. It's also in the chat. Look at that. How about it? And
good.
Kickstarter's out there. The thing is already funded, so these guys have got the scratch to get it made. So it's just out there if you want it, and then pick one up. I have many of the projects these guys have put out. I have enjoyed everything that I've read, even if I haven't read everything. Before we go, any final words for the readers, potential readers, before we call it a show?
How about we're just getting started?
Hey, I like it.
We are, because this actually builds a larger villain. That's kind of the twist at the end. That this volume will have closure. Oh, I never told you the inspiration. You probably are too old to have known of Disney Adventures in the 90s.
I'm aware of it.
Okay, in 1994, they did this crossover between all of the Disney afternoon shows that had this artifact that was the Legend of the Chaos Stone, and it was this like ancient god that had been sealed away. And each of the 5 parts was in a different, like started with Tailspin and up through DuckTales and Darkwing Duck. It was like this 50-year story, which was ridiculously ambitious for like a Disney just magazine comic. And it kind of lived in my head for 30 years. It's actually been collected into a trade volume now. But yeah, I wanted to do that, something of that nature. And then this was going to just be a Christmas anthology, but the chance to do something like that was too tempting. And that's how the stories of Nebel's story was completely standalone. And then Ranger Rivers was so cool. He ended up getting a major heroic role in the Convergence at the end.
Oh, wow. Well, there you go. That makes it extra fun, because it's not just an anthology, guys. It's a serialized adventure story.
It started out as Hallowed Harvest and evolved into something more like Blackest Night.
Well, now that might be not be a great selling point, depending on people's opinion of Blackest Night.
I know.
But no, those integrated stories, that's super fun. That's super fun to see how those pieces all fit together. That's you're talking about comparing the Pulp Fiction, the epilogue to Pulp Fiction in a way. And that's one, that kind of non-sequential storytelling is one of my favorite devices. So
definitely.
Well, guys, we'll call that the show, and everybody, you guys have a great night. And until next time, get out there and read some comics, and you all have a good week. Later. Next week, before I forget, oh my goodness, I almost forgot. We actually know what the show is going to be next week. Their usual gang is back. We're talking about Justice League of America, issue number 200. A favorite suggested by our good friend Hutch. And that's going to be next week's show. So we're going to all read some old comics and come out here with giant gray beards and complain about how they don't make things like they used to, and tell kids to get off our lawns. It's going to be a
Sounds
great
fun.
show. But
I'm sure
until then,
Sounds like a great
there's new
time.
comics by the guys in the Mythoverse. So appreciate both of them. And we'll
I'm pretty
catch you
sure
all.
Justice League. Oh, sorry.
I said we'll catch you all down the internet.
Okay. Y'all have a good night.
Yep.
All
Right,
right.
everybody.
Later.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye. Gotta hit the right button this time.